Zizzle.
Live from Boston, this is 7 News at 11 on the news station.
Remember this soaking scene on Sunday? Well, get ready for more wet and windy weather. Good evening, everyone. A wintry mix has already started in western Massachusetts.
What exactly can we expect? Our chief meteorologist, Todd Gross, is here.
It's amazing to see it happen twice in just 4 days. I'm looking at the latest charts, and the energy with this system is very serious. It is moving in from the Ohio Valley. A little bit of a mix right now in the Berkshires, just moving in there. But as you can see, it goes way back all the way down into the southeastern United States, and that's going to zing through here for tomorrow. But first, let's talk about our weather spotters and whether or not this will be rain or snow when it first moves into central Mass. Here's the tip-off. Our spotter in Holden, Mass. is at 700 feet elevation. There's a warm layer of air right in there, so we know it's not going to snow. But look at Munson. That's one of the valley sections, 33 degrees. When it first moves in, perhaps just a little bit of freezing rain causing slick roads in central Mass, but that's the worst of it. For most of us, this is a plain rain event. But there is a high wind advisory for tomorrow, first from the southeast and especially in the afternoon from the northwest. That's the other big news. It's not just heavy rains. There's a chance of a thunderstorm and powerful gusty winds on the tail end of this storm. I'll run it down in a timetable format for you coming up straight ahead in just a few minutes.
A special delivery in the aftermath of a deadly crash. A woman stuck in the backup traffic from that accident gave birth inside a car. The night team's Ryan Owens at the Boston hospital where the mother and baby are spending the night.
Randy, that newborn baby boy and his mom are here at Brigham and Women's Hospital tonight. They're doing fine after a dramatic day of both birth and death on the expressway. Moments after she gives birth in her car, the relieved mother cradles her baby boy.
Congratulations, Mom. Good job. Good job.
Other motorists cheer the new mom who got stuck on the expressway on the way to the hospital. Trucker Tom Fitzpatrick was stopped in front of her.
The husband come banging on the door and asked me if I could call the state police. And I asked him what was wrong. He said, my wife just delivered a baby. And I looked down and she's holding a baby.
EMTs rushed the minutes-old baby to the hospital. He'd already proven he was in a hurry to get there.
Good sized boy. He looked healthy and he looked wonderful.
Sadly, that new life began just as another had ended. Barely 100 yards down the expressway, 22-year-old Merlane Berthold was killed when this car slammed into the guardrail. Police say she was in the back seat and not wearing a seatbelt. She lived in this Walpole apartment with her roommate who was driving. They were on their way to Logan Airport when the driver somehow lost control. The accident happened at 4:20 in the morning and tied up northbound traffic for much of the commute. In fact, that newborn's parents were stuck on the road for more than an hour when the baby decided he wasn't waiting anymore.
I'm telling you, they were as calm as could be. I've never seen anything like it. For being in that situation, they were remarkably calm.
And tonight, Massachusetts State Police are still trying to determine exactly why that driver lost control. They do not believe that either drugs or alcohol was a factor in the crash. But again, on the flip side tonight, both that mother and the little boy are doing just fine. Live at Brigham and Women's Hospital, Ryan Owens, 7 News 19.
Employees at a Charlestown bar and grill are forced into a freezer by a gun-toting robber. Customers who didn't realize what happened began pouring themselves drinks. The story is new at 11. The night team's Byron Barnett is live in Charlestown. Byron?
Well, the robbery took place about this time last night here at the Ironside Grill in Charlestown. Not as many people in the bar as there are tonight. Now, the owner, Denise Canton, says that this is the first time she's ever been robbed, and this one was a doozy. It's still sending chills up her spine.
He said, everyone stand over here, and he goes, where's your freezer?
Denise Canton says the hooded man in his 20s walked into a restaurant and robbed them with a sawed-off shotgun, but he didn't stop there.
He opened up the freezer. He said, everyone get in.
So
all right, all four of us went in.
Denise says the robber slammed the door shut, barricaded her and 3 others inside, and fled. How cold was it?
Very. I don't know the temperature, but as soon as you're there about 3 or 4 minutes, you start realizing that it's going to get really cold.
But while Denise and the others were sitting here shivering in the freezer, what they didn't know is that 2 other patrons had come into the restaurant and were sitting out at the bar.
Nobody was in there, so we decided, well, we'll help ourselves, and the bartender is sure to come around. Maybe they were.
Joe and his friend Kevin started watching Monday Night Football. Meanwhile, back in the freezer,
The three of us had a cell phone, but unfortunately only one of them worked. We kept trying them, but the state police did get the call.
and when the police burst in, there were Joe and his friend.
Yeah, they said, "You responsible for this?" And we're like, "Responsible for what?"
We started banging, saying, "We're in here."
Denise says when the police got them out, she told them that Joe and his friend weren't the bad guys. The whole thing gave Joe a chill.
We realized the propensity of the situation that, you know, had we been 2 minutes earlier, that the bad guy could have been exiting, and in a panic, you know, we could have got hurt or whatever, and, you know, it was a life-threatening situation.
And police are still looking for the suspect. Denise says, fortunately, he didn't get away with a lot of cash because most of her customers used credit cards. That's the story live from Charlestown. I'm Byron Barnett, 7 News 19.
A Marine from New Hampshire is among the latest casualties inside Iraq. Lance Corporal Adam Brooks from Manchester. He was killed when a bomb exploded near his Humvee over the weekend. He was on a patrol in Baghdad at the time. The 20-year-old Marine had just graduated from high school last year. His young widow says that he had always wanted to be a Marine.
He believed that, you know, we did have to make a difference. And being over there, just helping one person was enough for him, you know, just seeing kids and watching them laugh and play around, you know, he loved that.
Brooks had just talked to his family hours before the explosion, thanking them on a phone for the Thanksgiving care package. He was due back in the United States in February.
The man at the head of an agency brought together to deal with terror threats has had enough. Tom Ridge is stepping down so he can spend more time with his family. Tonight, Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney is speaking out about all the talk of him being a replacement. He joked with employees to keep doing their work, but Tom Ridge is leaving his job as Homeland Security Secretary. He does so feeling confident that security measures instituted on his watch helped prevent terror attacks.
I'm confident that the terrorists are aware that from the curb to the cockpit, we've got additional security measures that didn't exist a couple years ago.
Ridge became the first Homeland Security advisor to the president 1 month after 9/11. Best known for his color-coded terror alert system, he became the voice of terror warnings. Among the major changes, tighter airport security from federal screeners and air marshals, more systematic inspection of sea cargo, and closer tracking of foreign visitors entering the country. Critics believe it wasn't enough because the White House didn't give him the money necessary to do the job.
We're not doing close to what we should be doing, not because Tom Ridge didn't try, but because the people above him wouldn't give him the resources, the freedom to do what he needed.
Among the challenges for his successor, Democrats say, coming up with a clear catalog of the nation's most vulnerable points and making sure that's where security money is spent. There has been some speculation Governor Mitt Romney could be considered a replacement to Ridge, but Romney says that's not going to happen.
There's no circumstance that would take me to Washington. I spoke with Andy Card a couple of weeks ago, who, of course, is the chief of staff to the president, and I said, Andy, I'm staying in Massachusetts.
So if not Romney, who? Well, talk circles around Ridge's deputy Asa Hutchinson, White House terror advisor Fran Townsend, and former New York City Police Commissioner Bernard Kerik.
A Saugus Mall security guard is accused in court of going on a stealing spree. Donald Glidden, seen here in the back of the courtroom, was arraigned today. Police say he admitted to using a handmade tool to open security gates on stores after hours at the Square One Mall. He and a man hired to clean the mall were caught in the act on this surveillance video. Police suspect they stole tens of thousands of dollars in clothes. This is the end of an era for the Four River Shipyard in Quincy. A car dealer is clearing the way for a commercial shipping zone by removing those giant metal structures. This afternoon's demolition drew a small crowd. Metal girders are some of the last remnants of the once thriving shipyard.
More of Camelot will soon be up for sale. Hundreds of pieces from the homes of President John F. Kennedy and his wife Jackie will be on the auction block. The auction includes items from Kennedy's private quarters at the White House, like a chaise lounge, and several family photos are up for sale. One features the president playing with his son John in a rowboat. Other pictures show Caroline Kennedy sitting with a crawling JFK Jr. This is the second Kennedy auction in 2 years. Last year's featured clothing, including a pair of the president's boxer shorts. This year's is said to be more modest, with some items selling as low as $200. The auction will be held in February at Sotheby's in New York. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Kennedy Library in Boston.
Only on 7. A numbers mix-up leaves a big lottery winner out of luck. We'll tell you why.
A dramatic turn of events during a police chase. Running for it had its obstacles.
You name it, we've got it. From sleet to thunderstorms to wind, heavy rains, and yes, cold and snow all in the next couple of days. We'll tell you what's going on straight ahead.
And losing your libido, a look at some new natural products that can give your love life a boost.
You are watching 7 News with Randy Price and Katerina Bandini. Chief Meteorologist Todd Gross with weather and Joe Amorosino with sports on the news station.
A Brockton man read the morning paper and thought he'd struck it rich, but his ticket turned out to be just another lottery loser. The numbers in the paper matched the Mega Millions numbers on his ticket.
But here's the problem. The paper was wrong. It's a story you'll see only on 7. The night team's Dan Housley's live at the store in Whitman where the ticket was bought. Dan?
Well, this is the store where Dave King comes about once a week to buy his lottery tickets, and usually, he says, over the last 10 years, he's won at most maybe $40. Until this weekend, when the numbers said he won millions. But in this case, the numbers lie. Dave King thought he had his grandson's Harvard tuition paid.
I called my wife and I says, we got to go to the lottery Monday because I think I hit the big one.
This 60-year-old machinist nearing retirement can't forget how he felt there at the kitchen table when he checked his Sunday paper and found the very numbers he picked there on his ticket for a Mass Millions jackpot.
I was gasping for breath because I couldn't believe that I had all 6 numbers. I went over that thing about 4 or 5 times. I says, this just can't be true.
Dave didn't realize how right he was. His wife suggested he double-check online. First, he saw the jackpot, $12 million. Then he saw the words, no winners, next to it. Every number in the paper and on Dave's ticket was wrong.
I was going on a pretty nice vacation. I was going to fly first class.
And now?
And now I'm going back to coach.
Dave's wife, Lori, called the Brockton Enterprise and asked what's the deal with putting the wrong numbers in the paper. She says the lady there told her simply, sorry, maybe it's an omen. You'll win next time.
Was there ever any... Wait a minute, I've been robbed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The anger passed quickly, though, and now Dave plans to frame his winning numbers to remember what could have been.
You can laugh.
Yeah, I can laugh now.
How can you laugh?
I figure, what the heck? You might as well laugh instead of cry.
Dave says the lottery folks told him it's not their fault either. They don't print the numbers, they just pick them. Dave says he's going to pick those same numbers at least one more time. He figures maybe he got the numbers right and just got the week wrong. We're live in Whitman. Dan Housley, 7 News, 19.
There are concerns tonight about a possible connection between milk and ovarian cancer. A Swedish study found women who drank more than 2 glasses of milk a day significantly upped the risk of the most serious form of the disease. Now, one theory, a type of sugar found in dairy products, may overstimulate production of hormones which encourage tumor growth. But researchers say women should not give up the dairy. The overall risk is still very low.
Looking to reignite the flame in your love life? Well, a new natural product may be able to help. The 19th Francis Rivera shows us how different herbs and plants are helping some couples drive their desire.
Many of the world's native cultures have something we don't.
At least one high-profile plant for sexual enhancement.
Hot on Mother Nature's trail is Chris Killam, the medicine hunter. A teacher at UMass Amherst has spent most of his life globetrotting in search of powerful plants that, among other things, add sizzle to sex.
Plants like ashwagandha from India, ginseng from China.
Chris decided to harness some sex-enhancing herbs.
We have a fresh tonkat ali root here.
And is now bringing from the exotic some erotic to Western world bedrooms.
Hot plants for him and hot plants for her are both combinations of different herbs from around the world.
Hot plants taken as a daily supplement are said to awaken the libido, arouse desire, and enhance pleasure. But the FDA says there's no proof that herbal aphrodisiacs work.
FDA doesn't take action in the herbal category unless they receive reports of people experiencing problems.
Problems are the furthest thing from Kathy Becker's love life. She tried hot plants at the suggestion of a friend, but admits she was skeptical.
I did it for a hoot.
Since she's been taking them, she's been doing more than just laughing.
I certainly noticed a delightful effect right away.
Kathy and her husband Myron are happy and seldom apart and work together at their sauce and marinade company. And once Kathy decided to spice up their love life, Myron didn't complain.
It was certainly a positive outcome for me, anyhow.
This product is not for everybody.
Dr. Kate Albright, a pharmacist for Mass General, says the ingredients in hot plants may trigger unknown allergies and reactions.
Ingesting them in concentrated doses, we could really get ourselves in trouble.
As editor of the Natural Standard, an organization that grades scientific evidence behind natural products, says more research needs to be done.
We would want to see it used in well-designed clinical trials.
Kathy doesn't need any more scientific proof. She says she never felt better, and it only took 3 days to feel a flutter.
It's a localized sensation, that little hum.
Some doctors are already using herbs like the ones found in the hot plants formula to treat the side effects of antidepressant medication.
People who are experiencing lowered libido as a result of taking antidepressants who use these products will feel sexually reinvigorated.
I don't know if they would work for other people. They work for me.
So for that special spark, Kathy's sticking with Mother Nature's prescription. Francis Rivera, 7 News.
Now 7 weather with Chief Meteorologist Todd Gross.
It's just a crazy night in the Weather Center. You can see the rain is now advancing through western Mass. At the very front edge, a little bit of sleet maybe mixing in the Connecticut River Valley. We're waiting to hear word from our spotters there as it hits there. It has mixed in the Berkshires. That's interesting. But other than that, it does look like generally it's rain for us. A repeat of Sunday's performance. 47 was the high temperature today, exactly normal for today's date. But check this out. One of the strangest days of weather ever happened in Boston in 1875. On this date, it hit -2 with a high of 10 degrees in November. That was one of the strangest days ever. 43 in Boston now. As we showed you earlier, mid-30s in some suburbs outside of 495. This is important because it's not quite cold enough to support snow when it first moves in. Aloft, there's a little pocket of warm weather, as I explained, so this is a rainstorm for us. In addition, the winds will very briskly be coming from the southeast as the storm approaches, so we will hit 50 tomorrow. But as it moves away, winds are going to flip the other way to the northwest. Any sleet at the beginning, well to the northwest of town, will quickly diminish, giving way to rain everywhere, even ski country. But don't worry. Ski country, you will be getting plenty of snow-making weather coming up late this week, in addition to some light natural snow. So at least skiers have a good weekend to look forward to. Let's recap the storm. Once again, tomorrow as it moves in, we get that busy southeast wind initially, and then it switches to the northwest as it flips away. Now, as that happens, I expect the clearing skies to move in on Thursday. But the winds really do come in very strong around the backside of that storm center. So tomorrow night, it does appear that we will be getting into that high wind advisory criteria. That is winds gusting to 50 and eventually 55 miles an hour. This will bring down small limbs and a few power lines. There will be some scattered outages late tomorrow afternoon. Then the jet stream takes over. It starts to shift a little bit more south and east. So the snows that have been flying in the Great Lakes will make it to New England as early as Friday, but it will be light. There's no big storms on the way. Thickening clouds overnight tonight, 29 to 44 from some of the suburbs to right here in downtown Boston. The drenching rains tomorrow, tapering off late day, 49 to 53. Here is how it breaks down. First thing in the morning, 44 drenching rains. Midday for lunch, 47 degrees, raining, just windy. On the PM rush, very windy, gusting to 50 miles an hour. Hold on to your hat, hold on to the steering wheel. 412, the earliest sunset is 411. We're closing in on that. And finally, take a look at your 7-day forecast. Yes, flurries or light snow for Friday, especially northern suburbs and northern New England. The weekend looks okay. Another chance of some flurry activity on Sunday and rain or snow coming up Tuesday and or Wednesday of next week. Right now leaning towards rain again, but there may be snow mixed in with that one. 3 more storms after tomorrow's, but tomorrow is the big one, even throwing a chance of a thunderstorm. Oh, one quick note. There was actually a tropical storm, Otto, here on the last day of hurricane season, but it's far out in the Atlantic. We'll see you first thing in the morning with Pete.
Breaking news from Cambridge at this hour. We're told 4 buildings are burning, including a church and 2 triple-deckers in Cambridge. This is happening at Franklin and Pearl Streets. We do have crews on the scene there. We'll bring you any more information and video as soon as we get it.
And there's dramatic video coming in off the satellites from Oklahoma tonight. A suspect being chased by police when his car gets struck. Now, he tries to make a run for it, as you see there, but then he's hit by a police cruiser. He went flying through the air, but he got up and he continued to run. Now, he made it a little ways before tripping on some barbed wire, and that's when police were finally able to make that arrest.
Coming up next in 7 Sports, Pedro Martinez with 2 offers in hand. He says he's waiting for another one, plus the high school football playoffs. We'll show you which teams go into the Super Bowls.
The world's financial markets can't believe the latest money-saving offers by Bernie and Phil's Furniture.
Nice. Now, 7 Sports with Joe Amorosino.
Yes, it is decision time for the Red Sox. The New York Mets have offered Pedro Martinez a 3-year contract with an option for a 4th year. The total value, $50 million. Clearly, the Mets are serious about signing Pedro, serious enough to take a chance on him 3 years from now when he is 36 years old. The Red Sox have offered Pedro 2 years guaranteed with a 3rd option year that could kick in only if Pedro remains healthy. The money per year is very similar, adding up to just shy of $40 million over 3 years, but the Mets are guaranteeing that 3rd year. Don't wave goodbye to Pedro just yet, though. The Sox offer could easily be tweaked, and the word is Pedro is waiting to see what the Yankees will do before he makes a decision. It is the most grueling 10 days in football. From Thanksgiving through this coming weekend, the state's best high school teams play 3 games. Thanksgiving Day, the playoffs tonight, and then the Super Bowls this weekend. Those who survive are called champions. We start with the Division I playoffs tonight, Everett and Xaverian. Second quarter, Everett QB Matt Nuzzo calls his own number on the option. 5 yards in, and he is in for the TD. Game tied at 6. Third quarter, Nuzzo pitches out to Thuluxin Pierre. Pierre does the rest around the corner, 20 yards for the touchdown. Everett was cruising. Then in the fourth quarter, Patrick DeLeon does his best Walter Payton imitation. How's that? Everett wins it 36-6 over Xaverian. So the Crimson Tide are in, and they will be facing perennial power Brockton. The Boxers make their annual Super Bowl visit after beating Bridgewater 28-14. Division 1A, Coach Bill Maver and Acton Boxborough riding a 48-game winning streak against Newton North. Second quarter, the Colonials on the board first. Bobby Hebert rumbles in from 15 yards out. What a move at the end, and Acton Boxborough was up 7-zip. Second half, why reinvent the wheel? Hebert again. The backs of his blockers and into the end zone from 6 yards out. Acton Boxborough wins it 21-14. And the Colonials will face Chelmsford in the Division 1A Super Bowl. The Lions beat Melrose tonight 22-19, the final there. In Division 2, the Walpole Rebels are the Super Bowl bound team. After getting past Danvers, they will take on Mansfield, the Hornets, with a 28-22 win over Plymouth. In Division 2A, Hingham defeats Wilmingham 38-20. They'll play Bishop Feion in the 2A Super Bowl. The Shamrocks with a 17-7 win over Bourne. Then in Division 3A, East Boston hosting Blue Hills. Fourth quarter, Eastie up by 6, and their defense seals it. Blue Hills fumbles right into the arms of big James Yarday, and look at the big fella go. The co-captain takes it 70 yards all the way to the promised land, and hopefully to a nearby oxygen tank. East Boston wins it 20-6. So Eastie is in. They'll play North Shore in the 3A Super Bowl as North Shore gets past St. Mary's 26-20. The Division III Super Bowl is set as well. Archbishop Williams advances, beating Tinsboro 13-0. They'll take on Westwood. The Wolverines all over Cohasset tonight, 31-8. And Boston College accepts an invitation to the Continental Tire Bowl. They will face the future ACC rival North Carolina on December 30th. That's sports.
All right, Joe, we want to update the breaking news in Cambridge. The night team's Ryan Owens on the scene there.
Randy, firefighters here are on the scene of a 4-alarm fire. Take a look down this street. We're right in the heart of downtown Cambridge here. The fire is actually on Franklin Street near Pearl Street. At this point, we believe there are 4 buildings on fire, including a large apartment building, a church, a Nazarene church, and 2 triple-deckers. As you can see, a number of streets are blocked here in the heart of Cambridge. Police doing their best to reroute traffic at this point. No word yet on injuries or the exact cause, but again, Firefighters clearly still have their hands full here. A 4-alarm fire. Live in Cambridge, Ryan Owens, 7 News.
Ryan, thank you. We'll be right back.
Log on to WHDH.com.
Thanks for being here. I'm Katerina Bandini.
I'm Randy Price. Good night.
John, I know you're at